In the heart of a vast and ancient land, a baby's cries echoed through the thick, dark depths of the evil forest. Two guards, holding the crying baby, dropped him quickly and disappeared into the darkness. "This child is cursed," the chief priest had declared firmly. "He is a witch, an evil child. If he stays in this village, he will bring destruction to us all." The chief and his wife, filled with sorrow, had no choice but to obey the chief priest, who spoke for the gods. The gods had spoken, and their words could not be ignored. The chief's wife's heart was heavy with guilt and fear as the two guards carried the baby away into the night. As the abandoned baby cried in the lonely forest, wild animals began to gather, ready to attack. But from the shadows, an old woman emerged. She chased the animals away and bent down to lift the baby into her arms. "Hush, little one," she whispered softly, her voice warm and kind. "You will not die here, not today." The old woman carried the baby to her small hut at the edge of the forest. She named him Nkem, meaning mine, because she had taken him as her own. Years passed, and Nkem grew into a bright and curious boy. The old woman cared for him with all her heart, but she was becoming more and more worried for his future. Nkem often asked her about the world beyond the forest, especially about the bustling town he could see in the distance. "Mother," he asked one day, pointing toward the far-off town, "when can we go there? It looks so big and full of people." The old woman's face darkened. "You must never go there, my son. That place is evil. Promise me you will stay away." Nkem was confused. "Why is it evil, mother?" She avoided his gaze, her voice firm. "Just promise me, Nkem." Reluctantly, the boy nodded. "I promise." When Nkem was 9, the old woman fell gravely ill. She lay on her bed, her breathing heavy. Nkem sat beside her, holding her frail hand. "My time has come," she whispered, "but you will not be alone. My daughter in the big city will take care of you." Tears rolled down Nkem's face. "Mother, don't leave me." The old woman smiled weakly. "You are strong, my son. Promise me one thing. Make something good out of your life." Nkem nodded through his tears. "I promise, mother." With that, she closed her eyes and passed away, leaving Nkem heartbroken, but determined to keep his promise. The journey to the big city was overwhelming for Nkem. The old woman's daughter brought him into her home. As a fulfillment of the promise she made to her mother, she enrolled Nkem in school, determined to give him a chance at a better future. But starting school at the age of 9 was not easy. Nkem was placed in the lowest grade, surrounded by children much younger than him. The other students mocked him. "Look at him, a giant in primary one child teased. "Maybe he doesn't even know how to count," another added, laughing. Nkem felt ashamed, but he remembered his promise to his mother. He clenched his fists and decided to prove them wrong. Every night while others slept, Nkem stayed up late, studying by the dim light of a kerosene lamp. He read every book he could find, determined to catch up. His teachers were amazed at how quickly he learned. Within 2 years, Nkem was promoted multiple times to higher grades, skipping entire levels as he excelled beyond expectations. By the time he reached the same class as his mockers, they were stunned. But Nkem didn't stop there. He graduated as the best pupil in the school, earning a scholarship that would take him all the way to university. News of his success spread far and wide. Nkem's academic excellence inspired everyone who heard it. With his scholarship, he traveled abroad to study medicine, eventually becoming a renowned medical specialist in the United Kingdom. Years later, as Unkem built a successful career, he read disturbing news from home. A mysterious illness was spreading in the people of his mother's village. The symptoms were severe, and many had already died. Unkem knew he had to help. He packed his medical supplies and booked a flight back home. When he told his sister about his plans, she was visibly worried. "You can't go back there," she said, her voice filled with fear. "Why not?" Unkem asked, confused. "They need me." She hesitated, tears welling up in her eyes. "There are things you don't know. Things Mother made me swear not to tell you." "Whatever it is, I have to go," Unkem said firmly. "I owe it to her." Meanwhile, in the village, the chief and elders were in despair. They had consulted a seer about the plague, hoping for answers. The seer's revelation shocked them. "The child you abandoned in the evil forest, he is the key to lifting this curse," the seer said. "Only his forgiveness can save you now." "But the gods told us to cast him out," lamented the chief. The seer shook her head. "Your chief priest deceived you out of envy. No wonder he was first to die in the plague," the seer revealed. The chief fell to his knees, overwhelmed with guilt. "But that child is dead," he said, his voice breaking. The seer shook her head. "He lives, but how you will find him I cannot say." The villagers lamented, believing all hope was lost. How could they find the child they had abandoned so many years ago? When Unkem arrived in the village, he was met with curiosity and suspicion. He wasted no time setting up and treating the sick. Word of the healer from abroad spread quickly, reaching the chief's ears. "Bring him to me," the chief commanded. When Unkem stood before the chief, the older man stared at him, recognition dawning in his eyes. The seer entered the room and gasped. "It is him," the seer said, her voice filled with awe. "The child who was abandoned." Gasps filled the room as the truth became clear. The chief fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face. "Forgive me," he begged. "Forgive us, we wronged you. We listened to lies and abandoned our own child." Unkem was stunned. You are my father?" The room fell silent. Then the chief narrated all that happened to him. Unkem took a deep breath, his emotions swirling. Finally, he spoke. "I forgive you," he said softly. "Not for your sake, but for the sake of the old woman who saved me. She raised me to have a forgiving heart." The chief wept openly, and the mood in the room changed. Unkem continued his work, saving the village. The plague lifted, and the people celebrated his heroism. The chief publicly acknowledged Unkem as his son, and the village vowed never to let fear and superstition rule their hearts again. On his last day in the village, Unkem visited the old woman's grave. He knelt beside it, placing fresh flowers on the soil. "I kept my promise, Mother," he said, his voice heavy with emotion. "Thank you for saving me." As he stood and walked away, the sun broke through the clouds, shining brightly over the village. Unkem's journey had come full circle, a testament to resilience, forgiveness, and the power of love.